If you have any feedback on how you use an open reed caller, please put them in the comments. If I had to pick one of two calls to go afield with, it's going to be the open reed. My perspective, I have so much more gratification audibly communicating to that animal, coyote, we're talking about coyotes right now. I love communicating with that animal on their level and speaking that language. This is my open reed howler. With an open reed, obvious things, the reed is exposed to the elements. It's an open reed as opposed to a closed reed. The reed's closed inside of the barrel, hence the definition. So on an open reed call, this is mylar. It's basically a sheet of plastic. Mylar is my reed of choice that withstands the elements and, our human abuse that we're putting this reed into our mouth to manipulate the sound. So I'm going to talk to you about reed manipulation on how to appropriately get your call to talk. So with an open reed call, what I like to do and how I've described using this call to many, many of my customers and first-time users, there is a learning curve for this. If you're enjoying this, please feel free, like and subscribe. The one thing that I think is most important for the novice to learn how to use an open reed call is just get it to talk. Get it to create sound and listen for tone. It doesn't matter the quality of sound or the quality of tone, it's noise. Just make noise through the call. So what we're gonna do right here, the bottom, this is the tone board, this is our reed. And we need that reed to vibrate against the tone board. So reeds create sound with vibration. That's how the sound is being created. We blow air through a call or a musical instrument. When the reed vibrates, it creates tone. So to get this to create tone and to start learning how to do this appropriately, we're just going to do simple things. Take a little breath of air in. Reed goes up towards the top. Tone board goes on the bottom. And I'm going to try to get in focus here the best I can. And all we're going to do is just blow a little bit of air so we can get that reed to vibrate. It's going to sound awful. We just want it to talk. That vibration that you hear is that reed bouncing off the tone board and my upper lip. We're just getting it to talk. Now we need to graduate a little bit quicker into this. So when I blow to create tone, I'm going to bite down and hit a fixed point on the reed with my teeth, not my lip. I'm using my teeth to make a fixed point of contact on the reed. Your lip has a lot of surface area. Your teeth have a lot less surface area, which helps create and manipulate tone control. If you have better tone control, you'll have a better ear to listen to how that tone is being manipulated as you blow through the call. So the first thing, we'll start from scratch. We're going to blow through the call and then just slowly bite down with our upper teeth coming into contact with the reed and pinching it between the reed and the tone board. So as I bite down and I pinch that reed, the more reed that moves, it's going to have a lower tone. The less reed that moves, it's going to have a higher tone to it. So this is going to be your reflection on audible maturity level between your adolescent or juvenile coyote and your mature coyote, also male and female. I have an Adam's apple, my wife does not. Naturally, I have a deeper voice. So listen to the audience that you're communicating with out in the field, and then you as the caller, you can decide male, female, juvenile, adolescent. You can control the pitch of that one call as you blow through it. If you're liking this content and you're finding it very valuable, please like and subscribe. So my perspective with this, when I go out into the field, I want to audibly communicate as friendly as I possibly can. I want to give that invitational howl. So to create the invitational howl, we're going to howl, reach the apex of sound, the highest pitch, and then we're going to roll over. If you listen to me talking to you right now, I have a friendly tone of voice. There's rollover at the end of my voice. We're having a friendly conversation. Now, if you and I are having a very heated, argumentative discussion, there's going to be some F-bombs, there's going to be vulgar language, and it's going to be short and quick. Think of an argument where somebody is just cursing back and forth between each other. They're short, quick, hard syllables. There's nothing friendly about that. Convert that into Coyote translation. Listen to the howls. If you have a rollover, it's pretty friendly. It's inviting. If you hit that apex of sound and it just shuts off, you pissed in their Cheerios a little bit. They're a little grumpy, and then this is you as the caller. How am I going to follow up with that? So initially, I want to sound as inviting as I can. I'm kind of taking their temperature. How do they react to it? Do they vocalize back? Sometimes when we call, there's no answer at all. If we're in a coyote-rich environment, just because they don't communicate back does not mean that they are there, and we're still going to do the same thing. Call and wait. Call and then wait. We're still going to have those pauses in between to let that ADD coyote do his thing. So creating tone with this, starting from square one. I'm going to blow into the call, create sound, and then I'm going to pinch it shut with my upper teeth and hit that fixed point of audible tone. You'll hear that apex of sound, and then I'm just going to roll over. This is your practice with manipulation of lung capacity, how hard you're blowing, and how long you're going to hold that tone for. You can clearly hear that rollover. That's what we're going to refer to as the invitational howl. Now, if I'm grumpy, if I want to sound like a really ticked off coyote, there's going to be a lot more short, aggressive tone. Learning the invitational howl is the best way to learn how to manipulate an open reed call. The faster you do it, the more you do it, the faster you can do it. You want to get that reed to start talking before you pinch your teeth on it. Nothing sounds good at the beginning of the call with the startup of the reed where it's got that awful vibration and then a really nice tone at the end. The more you practice, the faster you can do it. Here I am today, starting from that first reed manipulation. So the more you practice, it's quick. And then you create the muscle memory of where your bottom lip is going to go, how you're going to cradle that call in your mouth, and where your teeth need to hit every single time. Quick, very quick in the initial. I still have that little bit of startup of reed manipulation to kind of kickstart it, and then I can hold that tone, but the more you practice, the faster you can do it. So we covered the invitational howl. Startup of the reed, this is your practice. Get that reed to start making sound, hit that fixed point on the reed against the tone board, and then tone control. That's just going to be your practice and how efficient and proficient you become using the call. So that was the invitational howl with that rollover. Now picture that short, not a warning bark, but you really ticked them off. You hear that? When I hear that, me in particular, my perspective when I go out and do a stand, as I said, I want to sound as inviting as possible. I'm taking the animal's temperature. If they audibly respond back to me, listen to the tone in which they audibly respond. Is it friendly? Is it inviting? Or did you piss in their Cheerios? If you got that coyote riled up and they're not happy about your presence, I give it right back to them. I imitate them and I mock them. I may even relocate where I'm standing on the property. That's one big thing to cut distance. If you have an opportunity to cut distance on your target and the wind is good for it, we get up and we move and we relocate and we set up again. We cut as much distance as we possibly can. It's like turkey hunting. Proximity is huge. The closer you can get, the more you can get away with.
That's good. While we're here,
I got to finish the bark.
Yeah, but it's okay for you right now because we got a break.
Yeah.
Hey, got plenty more content for you. If you're enjoying this,
yep.
Subscribe.
I got plenty more content regarding all this. So if you like it, subscribe it, share it. If it is the time and the place, cut distance. When you hear that audible response come back from, don't forget, I always say coyotes are not a pack animal. Everybody refers to it as a pack of coyotes. Family groups. Family groups typically don't play well with other family groups. So you're communicating to that family group. When I come onto a property, I want to sound like that transient coyote stepping foot on a property where I really don't belong, and I'm going to vocalize and communicate as friendly as I possibly can, and I'm going to listen to what that response is, depending on the time of year, with breeding season, depending on the demographic that you're located in. Those times of year are going to change a little bit. Here in upstate New York, where I live, my backyard, my area that I hunt in, our breeding season is, call it pre-rut, like coming into January, mid-January, into February, March is what we're going to call the coyote rut, into February, March. The gestation period for conception to birth for an eastern coyote is 62 days. Super, super quick. So over that 62-day time frame from conception to birth, when those pups are being born, typically latter part of into May, April, that's usually right around the time frame when those pups are being born and, denning season. So all of this comes back to game calling. And how do we audibly communicate with an animal during a breeding season, not a breeding season, and the vocalizations that we're actually communicating to that animal? Typically all year long, I'll vocalize and sound as inviting as I possibly can, and I'm taking the animal's temperature. Vocalize, communicate, listen to what that response is, and then your time in the field is going to dictate your experience. My experience dictates communicate, sound friendly, invitational howl. If I get that audible response back of friendly tone, I'm going to stick with that, but I'm not going to keep calling. I said hi. They answered back and they said hello. And do I have an opportunity to cut distance? Am I going to relocate? What's the wind doing? Do I stay put? These are all times and these are all circumstances with decisions that you need to make as the hunter. But to communicate with the animal, I sound friendly, invitational howl, listen for the response, and if they're grumpy, I'm going to give it right back to them. So this is a little bit more of time and experience using an open reed call to get those barks. Those barks, and then you hit that apex of sound, and then you shut right up. I want to sound like that challenged, really grumpy coyote. So to do that, we're going to revert back to what we did before to learn how to give the invitational howl. We get the reed flutter, we hit fixed point, and then we hold to the apex, and then we just start rolling off. This is going to be teeth placement on the reed and mostly exhaustion of breath. How hard you're blowing into the call, from hard to kind of soft. Going back to the closed reed call. When I did the video about the closed reed call, remember I said we blow a lot of air on the outside of the barrel when we need to take a breath? You could do the same thing with an open reed call. Instead of focusing all of the air through that narrow channel to blow the air through the call, start blowing a little bit on the outside of the call when after you hit the apex of sound, when you're rolling over for that invitational howl, start blowing a little air on the outside of the call. That's you as the caller and the decisions you make how to manipulate what you're actually hearing. So whatever your practice dictates, go ahead and do it. If you can hold good tone, keep doing it. But before I do that, please visit rushcustomcallers.com. Link is in the description. All right, so back to the open reed. I'm going to do the same exact thing to get those short, crisp barks and that aggressive tone that I'm looking for. So instead of holding tone, we get that reed to flutter, and then we hit that fixed point of tone. We're going to make it really quick and really short. So use the collar. It's all the same muscle memory, but it's your practice. It's going to be quicker and shorter. And this is what we're going to try to accomplish. All of that is just quick. Everything that we learned to get that nice, fluid, invitational howl, same dynamic of calling, but it's you as the caller. Shorter and quicker. You're almost biting that reed and you're blowing at the same time. I'm exhausting air from my diaphragm as I'm biting. That's how we create the tone. So the last call I want to talk about is the coyote. The coyote can be referred to as the pup distress that you hear on your e-collar, or audibly communicating within the family group is called a coyote. So the biggest difference, perspective, my opinion, the biggest difference that you physically hear between your pup distress and your coyote is the emotion that's put into it. So you as the caller, it's the emotion that you're putting into it. Do I sound hurt, or do I audibly sound like I'm communicating? To manipulate that call is going to be lung capacity and teeth placement on the reed, but your teeth, you're actually manipulating your teeth back and forth on the reed to create different audible spectrums of tone as you're blowing. As I said before, we want to start the reed, get it to move, and then we manipulate. So I'm going to start really slow, and then I'll show you what I actually do in the field. It sounds like a kazoo or a flute, where we're just changing pitch of the call. So when we do that really, really fast with the teeth, and you're pinching pretty hard with the teeth at this point, and dragging teeth across the reed back and forth to create those higher pitch, low pitch, higher pitch, low pitch, the emotion that you put into it, whether it's a distress sound or the actual vocalization of a coyote, this call is great to use as a communicative call with a coyote and a partner, or an e-caller, another family group. So maybe I'm the female, my partner's the male, or I have an e-caller, but manipulating this call so you actually sound like a family group. This is one of the few calls I highly recommend you kind of want to hold your breath so you can really control how much air you're exhausting through the barrel. Any other call that I've ever talked about, we never hold our breath. This is one call in particular where you want to take that breath in and actually hold your breath and manipulate that one series of call through, because when you're done, you can just breathe normally and scan your surroundings. I'll do a combination of the invitational howl, throw a couple barks in there, and then I'll throw the coyote in. This is a call we absolutely love to use. My partner howls. I follow up with a howl. He sounds like the male. I sound like the female. As he's still howling, I'll come back and I'll throw in the coyotes. We sound like our own little family group. As I mentioned before with the closed reed call, definitely increases the chance of reed freeze as temperatures get colder, condensation from breath. Another thing with this is the reed's exposed to the elements. So on an open reed call, it happens quite often when we get into very, very cold temperatures and this call is exposed to the elements. What I like to do is blow air through the exhaust end of the barrel to clear any condensation that could be potentially between the reed and the tone board. And my mouth is warm. If I have any hesitation or I can feel ice crystals starting to form, just put it in your mouth. Let everything break up. As long as we don't actually have frost on the reed, we're in good shape and we're going to create tone. So just double check that before you go blowing into it in cold temperatures.
Hey, Mr. Rush, what are we filming today?
I'm going to talk about my open reed coyote howler.
I'm terrified of using one of those. I have no clue how to do it. Will I be able to learn? Oh, sorry, that's my bad. And sorry, these are going to help me because I got to
Ding it.
camera. Hey Brian, what are we filming today?
Hey Dennis, we're going to talk about my open reed coyote howler.
I'm terrified. This looks pretty complicated.
Yeah, a little bit of a learning curve, but that's what we're going to talk about on this next video to get over that learning curve and get out and be successful in the field.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's it right there. You got your guy coming in and there's no right.
Thumbs up on that one.
Yeah.
Then